Good evening. Good evening to all you wisdom walkers out there. This is Jojo Maria and Saroma coming to you with Wisdom Walk Talk Sunday. And, I am so grateful to be here with you all today. Probably should take this other one out just in case I forget to put it back in. Um, I'm so grateful to be here with you all today. This is my pre show as my broadcast, my live broadcast, my podcast is getting started up. And, you know, yeah, I'm just in gratitude today. That's my goal, is just to stay in gratitude for everything that is going on and to not judge it, to not try to figure anything out, but to, just stay in great gratitude. So I can't tell you, like, this is still quite like a miracle to me that I get to do this every other Sunday or 2 Sundays a month, and that there's audience, loving audience, um, listening and benefiting, from this. It's something I really, really love to do. So to get feedback that what you love to do is having an impact in a positive, generative way, making a difference. Yeah, that's just wonderful. So I hope that you all are taking care of yourselves. We're in a time period where we can just pause, slow down, and rest. And tonight I'm going to be talking about unlearning imbalance, because imbalance is something that, especially when you're young, or at least that was my experience when I was young professional coming on the scene. I was willing to do whatever just to get noticed, just to get in, just to belong. And yeah, it's a wonder I'm as healthy as I am now. Woo, yeah. Yeah, long, long hours, lots of public transportation traveling, and lots of partying hard, disco, oh God, restaurants. If I should have kept track of how many different restaurants in Manhattan that I got to go to, and clubs, yeah. But now it's a new day. I get how important it is to know what balance really is and to live that. So that's what I'll be talking about with you tonight. So thank you again for being here, for listening in. My radio podcast opening is about to be done, and then I'm going to get us started with the full program in just a second. Good evening, and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk to Self Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojapa Maria and Saroma. And it's my great pleasure to be here with you this evening, here on March 21st, May 21st, and to be of service to you at this time. Very challenging time that we're in, but it's also filled with many, many blessings, and lots of love is in the air. Yeah, yeah. And we want to be with that. So as always, I want to open up by honoring the ancestors. My first nod is to my wonderful teachers and ancestors, Malidoma and Sabonfu Some, and in gratitude for the wonderful, wonderful medicine from spirit that they brought from Africa here to the United States and all over the world. So join me and think about those ancestors that are important to you at this time. Call out their names, they love that. And we're going to do some ancestor invocation. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you for your blessing and your mercy in our lives, and for yet another opportunity to call out, to reach out to the ancestors. May the ancestors hear our prayers. Ancestors, 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 we call out to you in the midst of this second quarter of 2023 and ask you to guide us gently through the required adversity as healing and growth opportunities during this nature year. Enable us to express our grief unapologetically and to receive all of the compassion, support, and encouragement that we need to keep moving forward. Continue to enable us to fully welcome and embrace this new age and new earth consciousness and guide us lovingly, happily, and more deeply into our personal renaissance. As we dare to live our new narratives, enable us to remember that these are divinely scripted for ourselves and for our world. And most importantly, continue to enable us to move forth from the dark ages of modernity by placing our heads below our hearts, valuing people over profits, and always, always choosing love over fear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Ashe Ahoasa, Ashinga, Bismillah, so it is. Ashe. So here we are in May, this first of two Earth months that we have in this nature year of 2023 that will reveal results and manifestations of all the radical shifts, hard work, and unexpected gifts that have occurred from 2020 through 2022. The numerology of the year, the universal seven, represents wholeness and perfection and is associated with ascension and a life free of obstacles, which means we no longer perceive adversity as something that's a burden, but we welcome it because we know it too is an opportunity for growth and for healing and for love. My theme for 2023 is adversity is the engine of success. And the theme for May, bring balance, is one of 5 collective commitments I'll be spilling on throughout the year. So thank you for tuning in. And tonight I am going to talk about bring balance, unlearning imbalance. But first, for those of you who are listening to the live broadcast podcast, I want you to know that if you have a problem with your internet connection, you can listen through this phone number, which is area code 563-999-3089. I will be, of course, doing this, making this live stream that I'm doing now too available on my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self Mastery. And if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can do that on my Facebook page, which is Wisdom Walk Radio. Join my Facebook community, Wisdom Walk Community. Also, my website, www.wisdomwalk2selfmastery.com, or in the comments below the YouTube video. Yes. And before I invite you to sit back, I want to just give some acknowledgement to my viewers and listeners. There's We Merge Media. Hey, We Merge. Hi, Michael. And I apologize because I forgot. Baseball has me crazy, so I forgot to put in an announcement about We Merge, but I'm going to do that, I promise, with the next videos that I do. So good to see you. And I hope that the retreat you all are on has gone very well. And then also to Miss Imani K. Ray. Hey, hi. She's doing a great job. She just opened up her YouTube channel, and I'll also be giving you information of that. And I will put that into the description box below this video for you. Yeah, these are some of my peeps, some of my colleagues out there listening in, which is always such a great blessing. So right now, I invite you to sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape where we can connect to our souls and discover or rediscover the true treasure of being human. Yes, 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 yes. So let me share with you a reminder again that my theme for 2023 is that adversity is the engine of success. Opportunities to find deep power within ourselves comes when life seems most challenging. And that's from Joseph Campbell, who did The Power of Myth. And this theme for May is about bring balance, the importance of that, how that works in our lives and why. And I am connecting it to alignment, which I'll talk more about. And so here's my overview for this broadcast and live stream. I'm going to first talk about the dark ages of modernity because I've been saying it a lot, but I realize that some people might not know what I'm talking about. Can't imagine that, but yeah. And the next, I'm going to share with you 5 ways to know when you are experiencing imbalance and misalignment. Then 3 practices for reclaiming alignment and restoring balance. And of course, as always, I will give you a personal growth opportunity. Yes, yes, yes. And Miss Amani K. Ray says she's excited about tonight's episode. Woohoo! Love it. You know, today, astrologically, there's some really powerful flow energy, and the Angels did win their baseball game, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I am feeling the flow of this. I feel like this is some good energy here, and especially for what I'm talking about tonight. So here's a quote for this podcast live stream, and it comes from a man named A. Al Ibrahim, who comes from Kuwait. And he wrote a book called When Life Makes Sense, Exploring the Meaning of Life Through Science, Philosophy, and Faith. And he says, we don't need to strive towards balance. We rather need to work on the obstacles that are preventing the natural flow of balance. Yeah, like balance is natural, it's a natural flow that is going on. And it's so important for us to realize that so that we don't trick ourselves into thinking we got to create balance. No, we got to get back to balance. And it's like the sun, it's always there for us, even though the clouds come, right? But the sun is always shining. Well, balance is always there for us. And it's about us learning how to allow ourselves to get back in touch with it. Hey, there's Miss Nika, daughter of Oshun. Thank you so much for tuning in. Another wonderful human being on the planet. Yes, yes, yes. So let me share with you about the dark ages of humanity, of modernity for humanity. Let me say that. Now, the term the Dark Ages is applied to roughly Europe's history from the 400s AD to, or BCE as they call it now, to the 1400s. And it's about the time when it starts is with the collapse of the Roman Empire. And that's like all empires coming to an end. You're always going to have some tumultuous stuff, some chaos, some upset, right? And so that went on. And then the plague hits in the 1400s. And then after that, they get a renaissance. Yeah. So I call these dark ages that we're in now as the beginning. They began with the collapse of the industrial economy or industrialism, and it was, fostered by that shift into the information economy, which is initiated by the rapid global spread of accessibility to computer and digital technology. Yes. And this promotes, why do I need a god when I have Google and Amazon? Yeah, basically it's, how we've gotten even more separated from the truth of who we are as human beings. And you add AI into that mix. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people, really in a lot of fear, from this. And that's another real, characterization, let me say, about a dark age. There's a lot of fear going on, a lot of fear going on. So I want to remind you about the higher and the lower timelines, which I keep talking about because it's really important. You got to know that there is this lower timeline, that is what I call the 3D experience, the stuff that we experience with our five senses. And it's important, it's what we're born into. But our job here on this earth plane is to move ourselves consciously into the higher timeline experience. This is where we alchemize and transform our core wound into treasure. Yeah, this is where we become the best version of ourselves and find the gold in the pain that happened to us. This is where we stop it from taking over our lives. Yeah. People like Putin and some other folks I can name out there, they're stuck in the lower timeline. They haven't moved up. They haven't, transformed or alchemized that pain from childhood. So they are doing what? Oh yeah, transforming it to everybody and everything that they can. Because that's what happens. But this is what alignment is about. This is what we're all shooting for, folks. We want to be aligned. And this artist's beautiful rendition, two artists, beautiful rendition about alignment. Being aligned with what? Yeah, your sacred contract, higher purpose. And then this other image I love. Yeah, when we're in the higher timeline, this is what it's like. You have access to the entire wealth of knowledge, information, and love of the universe. You're up on that mountaintop, like Martin Luther King, and you see the promised land. Yes, yes, yes. And when you come down into the lower timeline, you don't do it to stay stuck in fear. You do it to what? Oh, yeah, to help other people move. You want to get other people into that experience. So, Dark ages of modernity, yeah, that's why we have the problems that we have with being in balance, with being in imbalance. Yeah. Hey, Lynn, my Earth sister. Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, Lynn and I had a conversation previously the other day, and she told me this was happening, and I love that she's letting me know, because that's a right on from the universe saying, yeah, what you're saying is really important. Keep it up. And thank you, Lynn. Yeah, and I'm going to give another shout out to Lynn, because as we were talking, she said this time that we're in is like when you're giving birth. Now, I've never given birth in a physical way. I've done it in lots of metaphysical ways, but I've done it in a physical way. But she was talking about actually giving birth and how it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it. And most importantly, you can't stop it. You can't hold it back. You can't keep it from happening. It's like you're in it and it's coming. And she said, that's kind of the time that we're in. And so, yeah, there are painful things going on, but it's really designed to help us what? Oh, yeah, birth something new, become something new, get this earth into a new vibration, a new energy. So I just love that analogy and wanted to share it with you all. Yeah. And thank you again, Lynn, for your genius and sharing it with me. Love it. So let's look now at these ways in which you can be more conscious of when you're experiencing imbalance and misalignment, because of how this dark age of modernity can take us in and out, up and through loops and all of that. And unless we can have a consciousness that we're out of alignment, out of balance, we can't work to get back in balance. Yeah. So here are the ways in which, in my personal experience, I have become conscious. And so I wanted to share these with you. So here's number one. Yeah, when you are feeling like the world is out to get you, when you have fallen into victim consciousness. Yeah. And again, this isn't about, I'm not going to have victimizing experiences. This is about I'm believing that all that I can have is a victimizing experience. Yeah. Yeah. And this is what trauma will do. It'll set us up for this. It will set us up for this. So this is again a message from the universe when you're starting to believe that nothing works out for me. I'm always being victimized. That person did this, that government did that, whatever the story is, right? Um, or if you are stuck in a real life domestic violence situation like that you can't get out of, right? Yeah, that's something's out of balance. Something that you are living and believing about yourself is totally out of balance. And we have to want to be conscious of that. Now, this stuff is definitely perpetrated by the invalidation that we experience through our core wound, through growing up, through our family, through our community, whatever. But it will have us just feeling trapped, feeling chained. This is real. But we don't want to stay in that. We don't want to stay in this predicament. We want to be able to move out of it. And then the fear of failure is another way in which we will feel victimized. If you're afraid to take that risk because what? Yeah, it's not going to work out for me. It never works out for me. Yeah, you're out of balance. You are out of balance. Let me move on. The other one is when you feel the need to defend or justify yourself. And that's, caused by that self doubt and unworthiness, also associated with the invalidation piece. And I love this little message here. Life is so much simpler when you stop explaining yourself to people and do what works for you. Yes, that's about let me not make this about somebody else because and in my experience, I stepped into being Jojo Pa back in 2000, so it's been about 23 some years, and at first I was trying to explain it or defend it, and then finally I just said, you know what, I need to be really clear and comfortable that it's okay for me to be Jojo Pa. And if somebody has a problem with that, too bad. And yeah, it's a process. I mean, I have to move into that because, the relationships that I could no longer have or people that I could no longer be around, vice versa. But, you know, in the end, what's supposed to be there will always be there. But, it is about I had to really claim, and be comfortable with who and what I was and not feel like I have to explain it. And so this is a wonderful quote from the great Ralph Waldo Emerson, an 18th century, a 19th century, excuse me, philosopher and a very spiritually intelligent man who said, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Isn't that just delicious? Isn't that wonderful? And isn't that true? Yes. So, all of you out there who are, having the courage to step forward in your uniqueness, please pat yourself on the back. Yeah, because it really is. It's a great accomplishment. It's not a little thing, not a little thing. Okay, let's move on with this next way in which you will know that you're out of balance. Yeah, it's called boredom, folks. It's called boredom because the only reason you are bored in life and at work is because you are out of alignment with and disconnected from your higher purpose. Yeah. And as it says here, fear is a manipulative emotion that can trick us into living a boring life. And I'm not talking about because as I was doing my research and stuff for this and looking on it, um, the people saying, "Oh yeah, I have a bore." If you followed me around, you'd see how boring I am. But basically, what they were talking about is I don't have a lot of drama in my life. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. And yeah, Imani, I hear you, girl. You're working on it. Absolutely, absolutely. Because not having trauma drama in your life, you know, that's not the kind of boredom I'm talking about. I'm talking about flatline, flatlander, where you just are not motivated. Nothing is exciting for you. Like you don't care. It's like that. And that's it's associated with depression. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so when you are feeling that kind of boredom, okay, not that, oh, I have the absence of trauma in my life, but when you just aren't motivated, you're not connected, you're not feeling. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's when you are out of balance because when you are connected to your higher purpose, When you are connected to what is aligned for you in terms of your sacred contract, what you promised to come down here and do, yeah, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different experience. I can't tell you when I got connected to the dagger of spirit medicine, to the medicine wheel. Back in 2000, my life has never been boring, and I've never been depressed. I've never, because I used to be chronically depressed up until then, but I've never been depressed. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Monty, being very, very aware. She says, I was just telling my mom yesterday that I'm feeling out of balance. Yes. And something important you're saying, it is a feeling. It is a feeling like boredom piece. It's a feeling. I feel bored. I'm not feeling passionate about things. But when you get connected to that higher purpose, when you up on that mountaintop and you looking at the center of the galaxy, yeah. Oh my God, life is so delicious. It's so exciting. Never a dull moment. There's never a dull moment for me. Never, never, never. So here's another way that you know you're out of balance. This is a big one. This is one that I still work on every day. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you want to control everything and everybody around you. Why? Because you're living out of fear. Your control dramas are always working. You're always trying to manipulate to have things go the way you need them to go so that you can feel safe. I mean, again, it goes back to core wound, it goes back to trauma, drama, rama, but it's not okay. It's not okay to want or try to be in charge of everybody and everything. Like, yeah. Because Imani Ray says, that's me. Yeah, girl, you ain't alone. But it doesn't feel good. And it disconnects us from people that we do want to stay connected to, Like, yeah, absolutely. And Imani says, I think that's why I stay to myself so much. Exactly. We will hide out because of that, because we can't get control over the control trauma. But again, if it's about living in fear, then we have to learn how to live in love. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the next one is about being stuck in the past, that resistance to change. This is really when you know you out of balance because we are here to change and evolve and to grow, and things are to be changing. And so when you have a resistance to it, when you're afraid of it, when you run from it, yeah, that's when you know, yeah, I am out of balance. I am out of balance. So these are, again, some of the five postures, if you will, or it's situations that will show up to have you feel like um, things ain't right and I'm out of balance. Several of these things that I mentioned are ones that we've actually adopted to be a professional, like controlling everything and everybody. That's what professionals do. Yeah, yeah. So, what is the anecdote to all of this, right? How do I take on unlearning this imbalance? And again, the first thing, of course, is what we're talking about. You just first want to become aware of it and you want to realize that it does go on and it can go on very unconsciously. Um, so we've got to want to know it. But I'm letting you really understand that these are messages from the universe that you're out of balance. you know the world is out to get me. I need to defend myself. I can't be just who I am. I'm bored with life. There's never anything going on. Nothing's ever really happening for me. I got to control everybody and everything, otherwise I don't feel safe. And then that resistance to change, those are messages from the universe that you need to get in alignment. So how do we do that? Well, here's my three big practices for you. Number one, to reclaim alignment and restore balance, you start with requisition. Now, typically, this term means an official order laying claim to the use of property or materials. Yes, because of property and materials you want to get used to and use access to and use of, that's the cosmic property and materials. Yes, the things that are in the higher timeline. So you set your intention in a sacred manner and begin a daily quest to have clarity about your higher purpose. The biggest, the biggest mistake, the biggest problem I have with formalized education, especially for children, is it does not make room to help children become more conscious about their higher purpose. It doesn't allow children the space and time to explore and discover what they really like to do. You know, we kind of herd them like sheeple into, well, you need to become a doctor because then you can make this kind of money. And you need to become this because you can do that. And oh, yeah, don't become a musician because you'll never make any money. Or an artist, no, you can't do that. You know, like we dictate what children are called to be based on, this economic framework. And it's time for that to stop because, people have so many gifts, talents, and genius. If you're not allowed to explore that, there is no way that you can be fulfilled in life and connected to your higher purpose. Yeah, it just can't happen. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Amani Ray is saying, yeah, that's why I struggled, right? And not getting support to find out the truth of who you are. Absolutely. And she says, I always felt out of alignment in school, except when I was in Montessori school. Thank you for that, Imani, because Maria Montessori, and I have talked about her. She is amazing in what she understood about higher purpose and connecting children to the truth of who they are. So, yeah, exactly. So, we know the way to do it. We just need to really have all children get access to that. Yeah. So again, do your requisition, practice that, get clear. You need to know what you're really here for, not what somebody thinks you're here for. What are you really here for? This next one is about refinement. I love this one, especially because this one really is for me and other people in my age group or who have been doing the spiritual work for a long time. Because even if you know your purpose or think you know your purpose, you have to ask to have it revised to meet your current age, your needs, and desires. And most importantly, you have to include yourself in the process of your higher purpose. This isn't about, the old paradigm that I have to suffer, struggle, and give away my power because that's what God expects from me in order for me to be on purpose. No, no, that is all made up. That is not what a greater order and direction needs from you. Greater order and direction needs you to be healthy and strong and aligned and in balance and vital and generating, not sick and dying. It's like, that's not what, no, 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 no. So I love refinement because it is a way to begin to make sure that you are not in a martyr role, sacrificing your well being in order to be on purpose. That is never okay. Yeah, I could talk about this one I could do a whole thing on this. Yeah, because this is really important, folks. Absolutely. And then last but not least, and I love this one, remembrance. Yes. This is a practice where you give yourself permission to claim what you truly love doing and that you do really well, even though you may not be getting paid to do it. This is about throwing out the details and the clock to having this manifest in your life and practice daily imagining of yourself sharing your gifts, your talents, and your genius in a manner where you are supported spiritually, emotionally, morally, materially, and financially. See yourself living your best life easy and effortlessly. This is it, folks. This is what it's really about. And this isn't about you have to go to the extreme and jump off the edge of the cliff without a parachute like I've done several times. It really is about, yeah, okay, if I'm in a stable situation but I'm bored and I know there's something else I want to do, I can begin to manifest it by doing this practice. Finding time to do what I love. But if I can't do it full time, I can begin to imagine it. I can begin to grow my feelings about actually doing what it is I love to do on a daily basis. And I, got to a point where I did do that. And that's how I wrote the book, Wisdom Walk to Self Mastery, because I finally said, I really want to write. I want to write this book. I don't know how I can do it. I don't know how I can eat and sleep. I don't know, but I surrendered. And then God sent me these wonderful human beings who gave me food, shelter, and even clothing so that I could be freed up to write that book and get that message out to the world. So it is possible, it can happen, but it starts with us giving ourselves permission to believe that we can have it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm just going to share more comments by Amani K. She says, wow, I love this. And then I got an amen. Ooh, I must be preaching good. I got an amen. Yeah. Oh, and she also says, I needed this video today. Thank you, Jojo Pa. And Amani is a teacher for the younger generation because that's her generation. So, Imani, you have my full permission to take everything that I have said and use it, run with it. You don't even have to give me credit for it. Just use it. Spread the word as you do so beautifully. Love it. Love it. And then Lynn Ann Johnson says, this is where I'm still working the most often. An unpaid writer? Really? And I eat, shelter, keep healthy? Yada, yada, yada. Exactly. Because when we start down that road, it's like a miracle. I can't believe it could happen. You can't figure it out. That's the other thing. It's not an intellectual exercise. There's no rationality to me getting on a plane. I had a client that bought me a one-way ticket to Arizona. And within 2 years, I'm in, Santa Monica, helping out my loving friend Sarah while I get to every day go to the cafe and write my book. Like, I couldn't have made that up. I couldn't have made that up, you know. So what this is about is, again, another thing I keep talking about and won't stop, which is we have to follow our heart. We have to listen to our hearts. This is the key, folks. This is what's going to move you forward into your happy endings, into fulfillment in your life. This is how it happens. Yes. This is how we get to live on purpose. Imani K. Ray said, wow, living on purpose. Yeah, got to listen to your heart. And the exercise that I give is about placing your hands over your heart and ask it to tell you what you need to know so you can be loving to yourself when you wake or start your day. It's so important, so powerful. Yeah, yeah. And so that's my personal growth opportunity for you is, those three practices for reclaiming alignment and restoring balance: requisition, refinement, and remembrance. Do you love my alliteration tonight? I kicked it, didn't I? I kicked it, right? Reclaiming, restoring, requisition, refinement, remembrance. Yeah, because that's easy for us to remember. And when you do that work in combination with what I asked you to do is, choose a desire that you have. In the last video, I said, and broadcast, choose a desire that you have and start looking at, where it is that you are out of balance so that you become more conscious of it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So here is my wonderful, wonderful. Oh, wait, I got one quick comment from Lynn Ann Johnson. Yeah, I'm kicking it with that alliteration. And here's my Sarah saying for the month, which is don't keep talking about the problem. Focus on what you want. Again, following your heart, folks, following your heart, giving yourself permission to have your dreams and your fulfillment and happy endings in life come true. That's what we're here to do. Absolutely. Well, I have come to the closing of our evening Wisdom Walk Talk. And as always, I want to first shout out to my wonderful engineer, Miss Yvette Parker, and to the entire Black Hole Radio Be Well family for continuing to give me platform in that way that I know is also helpful to people that don't want to be on a computer for whatever, and maybe they'll watch the YouTube later, but the broadcast really helps. So I'm really grateful to be able to continue to do this. Of course, I want to shout out to all my regular listeners out there and watchers, to all of you who have Wisdom Walk with me, and those of you beginning the Wisdom Walk in June with me. Yes. And you know who you are. To my family on both coasts and in the middle of the country, to my transformational leadership colleagues, my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, like Asu and Ina. I love you guys. I love you so much. And to those of you who may be listening or watching in for the first time, thank you. Big thank you. I couldn't do this without connecting to your loving energy. Yes. So, um, do know that I will be back with the theme for June, which is about be the change. Yeah. And I'll be doing that on Sunday, June 4th. And then, and this will be the live broadcast on the 4th and on the 18th. And that's going to be a really fun one because we've had a lot of planetary alignments going on to get us to where June becomes a real fruition time. Yeah, a real time of, where we are in the change and we can be, just more and more and more conscious of it. And I have to share this comment from Michael Damon from We Merge Media. He says, "You've been on fire." Yeah, I'm lit. I'm lit today. The spirit's working through me. Love it, love it, love it. So, as always, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Now, please have a very healthy, happy, loving, slow and easy Earth Week. We're stepped into an Earth Week, and it's all about, of course, receiving, opening to receive. COVID and other microorganisms are still alive and kicking, and they want to live. So I really encourage you to keep the science safety before you and don't take unnecessary risks to put yourself in danger of getting COVID. Um, use your mask when you're in places where you don't know how people are managing their health or if it's a big crowd, and listen to your intuition, folks. I can't tell you enough how I listen to my spirit guides, my ancestors, what walks with me before I do anything. Like I ask them, is it safe for me to go out the door today? And they'll say to me, no, you need to stay still. And I'd be like, okay, got it. I ain't going nowhere. And because I trust that, and I can say that, I very consciously took on, I did not want to have the experience of COVID in order to grow and evolve. And that has been my experience. I haven't had it. And I don't plan to get it because I will wear my mask. I will keep washing my hands. When I go into the supermarket, I'm always masked up. I ain't playing. So I just encourage you, please, please take care of yourself. You are needed on this earth plane. Yes, it's so, so important, you know. And Imani Ray said, yeah, I just had it again. And, you know, and you're young and they tell young people, oh, it's no big deal. It's this and that. But we don't know that. They don't know how that could affect you. You 10 years from now be something messing with you and to be like, oh my God, that COVID is still around. You know, it's like mononucleosis. It go hide out in your liver. Wait till your immune system is shot and then it come back, you know. So we don't know about that. So do the best that you can. That's all I got to say. And don't act like this isn't real and it isn't happening. It's like the war in Ukraine. It's real and it's happening, and other stuff that's going on. So take care of yourselves. Please take care of yourself. So, so, so important. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. Here's just a quick plug for my book. It's still out there, still walking around on its legs. I am working on the second one, and there's going to be other ones that come out, which I'm so excited for. And please, 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 please remember, my dears, that you are not disposable. You are so much. You are divine. Good night now.